Hi, paint pouring people. Thanks for your patience. I know there's a few people waiting right now. This is my first live. I've done probably 70, 80 videos by now on YouTube. I started earlier this year. This year is 2017 in case you're watching it in the future. But lots of videos, editing, and this is finally my first live. Why? Well, I get a lot of questions and I try to answer them, but I want you to be able to write some questions into the chat, and hopefully we'll have some fun. I'm going to do a painting here in a minute, but it's going to be very informal. So here we go. Let me, my camera guy, Clint, he's the one that does all the editing, camera work. He's the brains behind this operation, and I'm just the painter, but we're both idea people. Anyway, he's going to be chiming in because we want to keep it fun today. So today I'm going to be pouring a poinsettia flower because I've had several requests. I actually had thought about it maybe a month ago.
Thanks, Margaret.
But I had several requests, and I don't remember exactly who said that because I see so many comments on YouTube, on Facebook, that I can't remember who said it.
We got England. But we have England. We have Romania. We have bunches of people. Oklahoma.
Yeah. At the end, I maybe not right this minute, but I want to know where people are from. Well, if you want to do it now, that's fine.
Cali.
Because
Italy.
I just want to know where
Simona. I've seen Simona's work a lot.
I just want to know where my friend from Macedonia is.
Poland.
Hopefully she's here.
Missouri, Florida, New York, Canada, Connecticut, Australia, Texas, USA. Hi, Clint. Hi, Simona again. Florida, Arizona, Denver, Rhode Island.
A word about Australia. Upside down. Okay, just kidding again. I've seen so much nice work come out of Australia. In fact, a few years ago, I've been a painter for a long time, but I just started pouring a few years ago, and it was some people in Australia who were very inspiring to me. I swear you guys were doing it before we were here in the U.S., so I want to give one of these to Australia and all our mates in Australia. So you guys are the best. Second best. No. Okay, so poinsettia flower today. It's not too much different than a sunflower, the way I'm going to go about it. And I practiced one yesterday, a small one, just to go through the motions. But I also want to say a lot of these videos I do, a lot of these paintings I do, I don't even practice them. I just have it in my mind what I want to do, and usually it works out. So today I have an 11 by 14 canvas, and this will give me room for maybe 2 poinsettias because it won't take terribly long. So I guess let me look here at the comments. Anybody say, yay Australia, and it's warm here. Okay. Switzerland, Oklahoma City, baby. All right, I gotta stop looking at these for now because you guys are too much fun. So let's get started, and I'm gonna start out with a wet white background. You don't have to. You can paint on a dry background, but I kind of like when the paint moves around on a more or less a slick surface. So I'm going to pour some white, and this white is the same mixture as the rest of the colors. It's just titanium white paint and some pouring medium. And I don't want too thick of a base here, but I do want to get some coverage, and I want it to be white.
We've got Russians in the house too.
All right. Russians, baby.
Ohio.
Hello, Ohio. Okay, so I spread the white around, and every time I think I'm just going to leave it plain, I can't resist adding some color. So one of my favorite things to add to a background is some gold, because it stays really, if you don't overdo it, which often I overdo stuff. Like I start pouring and I can't stop. There, I stopped. it adds a nice kind of a subtle mix instead of it being plain white. But there's not so much here that it's going to negatively affect my flower colors or whatever it is I'm painting. So there's some cells that come up. The gold has some silicone in it. The white does not. That's just how I work. There's no need to have silicone in the white.
We have Tasmania here too.
All right.
Florida.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, looks good.
How's the view? So I've got, it's wet here, but it's not, I don't want a big deep puddle here because when I pour the colors, it's going to get deeper. So I don't want it to get out of control. But you just have to practice. If you haven't tried this, just start. The best thing you can do is just start.
Mary from Long Beach is starting.
Long Beach.
Georgia, Florida.
All right. Now I'm looking at this, talking, painting at the same time. I'm going to push a little bit of this off just through experience so I don't get too much white interference here. But this gold is so pretty, I'm going to leave it. Okay.
Simona, we're working on a fix on the Nova Plex pouring medium. I know there's a lot of people not real happy with that, but you say I'm not satisfied with Liquitex Clicks. Always Nova Paint is amazing. Oh, I got you. Okay, Nova Paint is amazing.
Yeah.
We're working on the whole scenario with the Liquitex. We've got a new product in development that we will be sharing with you guys shortly.
Okay. So I'm going to mix
Ciao.
a dirty pour, the first dirty pour in a 5-ounce cup. I've got 2 big cups of 2 different reds. This is a cadmium red and this is a magenta. And poinsettias are red, but we want to push it a little bit and get some different things going on. Otherwise it's too boring. So I'm not going to pour a whole lot in here. And I'm pouring at the same time, and I'll tell you why in a second.
So as Caren's pouring and painting, I'm going to answer a few questions that pop up as long as it is within my abilities and knowledges to answer. If it's really like a complex question, I'll have to flip it over to Caren,
Okay.
but I'll answer as you talk. I'll answer.
Okay.
Don't let me confuse you. You know how easy that is.
Okay, so I've got the 2 reds in here. Normally I don't stir a dirty pour, but I want both colors to come out at once, because if you've done any pouring, you'll find that one color comes out and then here comes the second color, depending on the density of the colors. I'm going to just twirl it just a couple of times here just to mix it, because I'm going to hopefully have them both come out at once, because I'm not pouring a lot.
You're welcome, Diane.
Volume-wise.
Diane Ayers, you're welcome.
So here we go. I'm going to do 7 puddles. And I'm leaving some space between them, and I'll show you why later. Oh, that's only 6. I gotta get 7 in here because I like odd numbers. So one of these puddles will be a little bit crowded. Okay. There's the puddles. Trying to decide if I should. I'll wait on the second one. I'm gonna do another one over here. We'll just do one at a time. So now I'm going to take my little trusty palette knife, and for those of you who don't know about my Amazon influencer page, I have all my supplies I use are on my page, and it is a affiliate link. You know what that means, that I make commissions off of these sales. But everything I have on Amazon are things that I use for pouring, painting, etc. So now I'm just using my palette knife and I'm pulling it out into a pointy poinsettia shape, but I'm still leaving some space in between.
Yes, we add silicone. She adds silicone to the colors, not to the white.
white is the heaviest of the colors. If you want to call it a color, it sinks. What creates cells is the silicone rising up through the colors of paint. White has a tendency to sink, so the combination of the silicone rising, the white sinking, you get cells.
It's an 11 by 14 canvas.
So you can see there's plenty of time to work here if you...
Hello, Velma.
If you're new to pouring, the pouring medium helps delay the drying. This is where you get time to work. Okay, you can see I got a little crowded over here. They started to come together, but I left the white space in between these, and now I'm going to show you the next step. I'm going to take a clean cup, and I have two other colors. I'm still staying kind of in the red family, but it is a pearly pink and then a pearly sort of an orange. So I'm going to do the little dirty pour again.
Hello, Claudia.
Stirred it a couple of times. Now I'm going to do a smaller pour inside here. Pouring is not an exact thing, as most of you know, so you get what you get. We're just having fun with this. It's not detailed.
Cajun's in the house too now, from Louisiana.
Spent time in Shreveport and New Orleans many years ago. Okay, so this is my second layer of petals, or their actually leaves. Poinsettia, the red of the poinsettia is actually part of the leaf. It's not a petal, so we'll just call them whatever. So I'm going to take this other color now and pull it out for this interior set of leaves. And one reason I made them a different color was so they would just stand out and be a little more interesting than if you just use the same color again. So now I have a second set. I need one more right here.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, just make adjustments. Another little puddle. A little goes a long way when you're working in this kind of a situation, but I want it to go outside, reach the outer part. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's good.
You've got the larger outer leaves, the smaller inner leaves, slightly different color.
I'm zoomed in right now, so you know everybody's looking at us slightly zoomed in. They're just seeing mostly the canvas.
Okay, good. You don't need to see me anyway. So right now, I've got some cells.
Thanks, Simona.
I'm going to make some points here. I like it when things go over the edge. You don't have a lot going over the edge. One of the fun things about pouring is when your design goes over the edge. A lot of people worry about, oh my God, what do you do with the edges? That's another really common question. I love it when the design goes over the edge. In this type of a thing, you don't have quite as much going over the edge unless you make sure that it does. So now I'm going to go ahead and start a second one. I didn't leave myself much room, but rather than make it this big, I'll make a smaller one. I have some paint left. Let's see if there's enough.
Yeah, let's do a smaller one.
You always think there's going to be plenty of room, and then suddenly you're out of room. But you don't want to. You want to be bold with this stuff. You don't want little tiny.
They're bold in Morocco right now, I can tell you that.
Morocco.
Bold in Wisconsin.
Amazing. Okay. Same process. Pull it out. Pull it out. you know, if you want to look at a poinsettia or a picture of a poinsettia before you start, it's helpful to know their shapes. I know they're real fat at the bottom, and then they come out. You think you know what something looks like until you start to paint it, and then you have to sometimes remind yourself. So, since there's so little room in the middle, I'm going to vary from what I did over here and just do one blob in the middle, and then see if I can pull it out into the second set of petals.
Don't forget the yellow dots. I guess
Yeah,
that's
I'll
coming
get.
later.
I'm gonna do the details after I get this one done, and then I should do the green. Okay. Now, one more dirty pour. We're going to do the green part of the leaves. I've got a phthalo green and a, I don't know, just a sort of, I call it a Christmas green. And it's as similar as the two reds. I like variation. So I'm going to use, instead of one color green, I'm going to use two. This doesn't take much. Maybe I'll throw a little white in this one. A little stir with my stick. Okay, there's some space here for some green. This is where it starts looking pretty, when you get the green against the red. How many do I want?
Maybe one there.
So I've got 3 over here. Certainly need more over here. I'll do right here.
You've got quite a little bit of time before the paint sets up. What, a good 10 minutes, 15?
Yeah, depending on your weather and stuff. But yeah, you can play in this for a while before you have to make decisions. See, I can sit here and watch this. But now I'm going to pull these out into the same shape. Leaf shape.
Mary, my name's Clint.
Oh, it's Clint. I thought it was camera guy.
Yeah, that's me, the camera guy.
I forgot. This is my husband.
As soon as Caren gets done, I'll come out and say hello to everybody.
So I'm doing the same thing, just going for the fat leaf shape, and I definitely want this to go over the edge.
Thanks, Louise.
There's some cells that developed with these two different colored greens.
See if I can zoom in on that just a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I've got 3 green here and 3 green there. Something doesn't seem right about that. It's too balanced, so I'm going to add a green. Where does it need it? Over here. Just let it run off the edge of the canvas. There's enough paint in this cup. You don't need much.
How long do you leave the mixed paint before using? Rosalind Hughes asks, and since I'm not quite sure how to answer that.
I have found that it lasts indefinitely. If you have plastic cups with lids on them, you can buy the drinking cups that come with lids, and they're on my Amazon list too. Right now I have some cups with no lids, so I cover them with plastic, and then I use a little rubber band. And there's no expiration date on it. It should last as long as it doesn't dry out. Just keep it covered, just like you would any liquid, and it'll last it doesn't dry out. It doesn't go bad. The silicone doesn't go bad. Nothing goes bad, or it doesn't explode or anything. People wonder about silicone. It's non-toxic. It doesn't smell. It's not flammable. So okay, here we go. Now,
Rosenkind has been very inspired by your work.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I gotten so many comments when we started videoing earlier this year. I had no idea what to expect, and it's just been overwhelmed by the people from around the world who have either haven't painted before and were inspired by what they're seeing here. I mean, this everybody wants to do this. When they see it, they want to try it, and I'm really glad that there's so many people trying painting who haven't painted before. So now I'm gonna do one of my favorite things. This is my stick. It's a candy apple stick. This is not the stick that you find in the grocery store that's a little barbecue skewer. This is a candy apple stick. If you get a pack of these, which is on my shopping list, you'll use one for years and years, and you can give out the other 99 to your friends. Clint's going to say something.
Bubbles, Rosalind's talking about bubbles too. You can pop them with a torch if you had them, but I'm not sure what the underlying cause of all the bubbles can be. I know it's a variety of things.
The only thing that I can tell you about bubbles is I have found if I use the inexpensive craft paint and you stir, it seems to, you might get some bubbles in your mix. With this paint I'm using here and this pouring medium, I don't get any bubbles. But what you can do if you have some bubbles after you've stirred, just let it sit. And then if you have bubbles on after you've poured, a torch or even a lighter will help. In fact, let me get my lighter here. I've never showed this. A lot of people are afraid of the torch, but what you can try is if you want to pop some bubbles or if you want to see if it will help bring up cells. Here's a little barbecue lighter, and I'm just going to run it over the top of the wet paint here. If there's no bubbles here, but if there were, it would help pop them. The flame actually makes the air come to the top and the bubbles pop. So there's a little lighter demo. Okay.
Simona is on that technique right there.
Okay, so now we have a little bit of a mess going, and I'm going to help define it. I like to define my subject matter quite often with some black. This is my pouring mix. It's not straight paint, it's pouring. And I'm going to drag it through and do a really quick outline of some of these shapes.
The barbecue lighter is an alternative to a torch, and these torches are food, like a creme brulee kind of torch. It just depends on what you're most comfortable with.
The lighter is not really a replacement for a torch. If you like a torch, I mean, if you want to use a torch, the lighter is kind of weak. But if you're just wanting to pop some bubbles, try it.
Yeah, the lighter's not nearly as hot as the torch.
Right.
Some people are talking about heat guns. Just a choice. Hi, Zoe.
A lot of people use heat guns. To me, it's hot air blowing and it dries out the paint quicker. Where oddly enough, you think the flame would dry out the paint, but I have found that it doesn't. So I prefer a torch to a heat gun. But if you have a heat gun, by all means, try it. I'm not one who wants to tell you to run out and replace everything that you already have.
Thanks, David.
So use what you have. I'm keeping my lines very loose and zigzaggy. You don't want to get too hung up on this coloring book type thing. You want it to stay kind of fun and loose. You don't have to outline every single place. But you can see, if you can see this, it does help define the shapes.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah. I'm just going to move right along.
25 minutes.
Okay.
Don't forget the yellow. Thank you. Let's make a mess today.
That's a good name. That's what we do.
Rosenkind means child of a rose. I love flowers. Okay. Aren't you the one from Germany? I think she's from Germany.
I don't know. Okay. The other good thing about these sticks is you can just wipe them off and move right to the next color. So as a
Here comes the fun part.
finishing touch, I'm going to put some yellow dots in here in the center. All you have to do is dip your tool into the paint and it drops right off. And these dots will grow some, so you don't want to get too carried away unless you like a lot of yellow dots. One more thing you can try, this is optional, is to put some sort of veins or whatever they call that into these petals. I'll just do it on some of them, and I'm going to take some white.
Because remember, this is just a demo. This isn't necessarily Aboriginal artists from Australia. Okay. Thank you. Well, we're happy to have inspired you in some way. Here's the thing I was going to say. This live painting here is a demonstration. This isn't necessarily painted as a masterpiece or a keeper. I mean, if it turns out great, it's a bonus, and that's always good. You want to, go with anything you have in mind. Obviously, you want it to be great. At all times, you strive for a wonderful piece. But in demo situations like this, it's more or less to show you guys what's being done, how to do it, the technique, to stimulate ideas, to stimulate questions and whatnot.
Yeah.
So every single thing that's done doesn't have to be a masterpiece, and it's not necessarily a keeper. And what we're doing right here is definitely meant to illustrate and inspire. So if you make a mistake, you can change things. You can do something different next time around.
Yeah, there's a difference between painting and then painting for a YouTube video. I have done some techniques. I have shown some techniques on YouTube, and somebody will say, well, I liked it better before you did that. But the whole point of the video was to show you how to go from step 1 to step 2 and beyond. Like I did a save yourself swipe where I did a dirty pour and then I swiped it, and people say, oh my God, I liked it better before you swiped it. But it's like, okay, that's fine. I was just showing you what you can do. So
Mary, I'm a dabbling painter. I'm not in Caren's league at all. And Evelyn, if it's not a masterpiece, you can definitely pour over it after it dries, or you can scrape it off. And sometimes scraping it off leaves some very interesting stains in your canvas that you can incorporate into something else. So
yeah. Don't be. Sometimes things that don't work out turn out to be a nice background for something else. You can either swipe it while it's wet. If you know you're not going to keep it, you can swipe it while it's wet, and it may turn out to be something really pretty. Sometimes when these colors mix, it turns out quite beautiful. You can let it dry, and then you can set it aside. You don't have to decide anything right away what you're going to do. If you have, hopefully you have enough studio space, shelf space where you can set things aside and just start on a new set of paintings. So there's the poinsettia. I hope
and Renee,
you like this.
I'm just going to answer Renee real quick. Renee Lehman, I guess is that German? I don't speak German, so I'm not sure what you're saying, but you have a smiley face there, so right back at you.
I'm just looking at a couple of comments. I'm a disaster at torching. You don't have to torch. The only time that torching is necessary is if you pour resin, like a clear resin, you need the torch to pop the bubbles. But I'm not doing resin here, so just acrylic.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in really close here so people can see the flowers, they can see the cells, they can see kind of how you worked in the details and whatnot. And go ahead.
So you guys, if you, I hope you'll like. This is going to be up as a video after we're done shooting live, and I hope you'll leave some comments and like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love new subscribers. Just passed a milestone the other day, and very excited about what we're doing. We're excited about what you're doing, And I also have a Facebook group called Paint Pouring People, which just popped in my head not too long ago. I wasn't planning on doing a Facebook group, but there were so many people who wanted to post photos of their paintings based on the videos that I've shown you guys, the paintings I've shown you how to do. So trot on over to Facebook and look for Paint Pouring People, and we're gonna have some fun over there. So I hope you enjoyed these poinsettias in this Christmas season.
And I'll get in the video for the first time.
This is the camera guy.
Hi, everybody.
He's the idea guy too. Does all the editing.
I'm the idea guy.
So, anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, I think it's great that you all could join us here on the first live. We're going to start doing more lives, and what we're going to try to do is maybe do a little experimenting at different times and find out maybe a good day so we can be consistent, and a good day, maybe a good time that works for a lot of people, and you can look forward to seeing us live more in the future.
So thanks for stopping by, and I really love seeing where all of you are from. As we close out, if you want to put where you are viewing from right before we sign off, I really enjoy seeing people from around the world, and thanks again for coming in. And I guess that's it. So we'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.
Bye, you guys. See you again.
Bye.
Bye.